Buying a home is certainly the most important financial decision you'll ever make in your life, and that's why we have gathered together 3 local professionals to talk about the process of buying a home. We'll start with Ben Sage, a sales representative for RE/MAX. And Ben, a lot of my friends are going with hiring their own agent in choosing their first home. Why are people going that route?
Well, it's important to know that real estate has changed. There's lots of different options out there with listed properties, for sale by owners, part-time agents out there. Having your own representation protects your interest with undivided loyalty, as well as usually no extra cost for that service.
Now, Betty Ann Hedges, you're a broker with RE/MAX, and I couldn't help but notice on your business card it says ABR.
Well, both Ben and I are accredited buyer representatives. A little more education, a little more experience, and a comprehensive toolkit that is specifically designed to help buyers.
We also have Jeff Teed, a mobile mortgage specialist with TD. What is the first step to see how much you can afford in buying a home?
First step really is getting somebody pre-qualified. Making a phone call over the phone to see how much you can afford may not be what you're really looking for. You want to go to a realtor with a real number that you can afford in a house. So we're going to take a lot of things into consideration. We're going to take somebody's debts, their assets, what they own, into consideration. We're going to have a discussion based around what kind of rate is appropriate for them, because the same rate may not be appropriate for every person. With all those elements, then we can come up with something that works best for a person's budget.
And at the same time, you should be looking at what it is you want in a house and choosing your realtor.
And so, Ben, how do we go about choosing, which agent we hire?
My advice would be to avoid part-time agents and avoid out-of-town agents. I would try a referral from friend or family, maybe visiting some real estate offices and searching online. Base your decision on the experience, the confidence, and the personality of your agent. And the obvious choice would be to call one of us.
What's your take on this, Betty Ann?
We don't simply have the keys to open the property. We have a lot of experience counseling buyers. We know also about properties that may not be on the market but could be available to purchase.
Does the buyer, Betty Ann, sign a contract with the agent? How does that work?
Yes, they do. Real estate has changed and the law does now require it. But we negotiate that and we offer a service guarantee.
And so now we have the buyer and the agent. We've got the perfect house picked.
Yep.
Now what happens, Ben?
Well, as your buyer agent, I'm going to collect as much information as I can to assist us in the negotiations. We'll sit down with the buyer client and develop a strategy for the offer. As well, I'm going to perform a CMA, which is an estimate of the value of the property in the current marketplace, to make sure the buyer doesn't pay too much. As well, we'll include some conditions for the buyer's benefit. As well, Betty Ann and I, we're not going to rush you. We're going to take time, work at your pace, and we'll do this as many times as necessary to find the buyer the right house.
And I guess financing then would be the next consideration, Jeff?
Absolutely. So you've been pre-qualified already. You know what you can afford. My advice to people is always don't change anything. So don't go out and buy a new boat or a car, anything like that. That's going to change what you've already been approved for. Where people have less than 20% down, CMHC or Genworth come into play. So there's an insurance piece. Every Canadian will pay that, doesn't matter who you are, but we are also going to look at the appraisal of the property, possibly, and that has to basically coincide with what the value is on the contract. From Betty Ann and Ben, I get a purchase and sale agreement, and we go forward from there. We invite the client into the branch to sign their mortgage documents.
Any other considerations, Ben, in finishing off that final contract?
In working for the buyer, I'm going to include clauses for their protection. We already talked about financing, making sure you get your mortgage. I would also put in a condition that protects you so you can get a home inspection, be satisfied with your home inspection, and obtain insurance for the property. We're going to take some time to research any problems that may have been discovered during our inspections as well, and we'll work closely with your lawyer and your lender to make sure that your conditions are met and that you're happy to proceed.
And when the buyer is fully satisfied, we proceed towards moving day.